You're watching W.Media and we are coming to you from the Chennai Cloud and Data Center Convention 2025. Joining me now is a very special guest, Mr. Amit Agrawal, President, Techno Digital. Welcome to W.Media, sir.
Thank you, Deborah.
Now, we chatted with you a short while ago on our podcast, W.Media Deep Dive. But today, I really want to take a deep dive into all of the things that you're passionate about because you are an industry professional with decades of experience. So let's begin with you telling us a little bit about your journey so far as a professional and a little bit about your organization.
So, my experience or my, coming into data center was very accidental. And this was way back in year 2000. That was my first job, and we were working for a company called Global Telesystems, which was mostly providing the networking and network solutions. And one customer of ours, a global customer, wanted to set up a data center. And in year 2000, the data center word was very uncommon. We never knew what was data center, what are the various dimensions of it. At that time, internet was also not very prevalent, so finding information also was very difficult. Then we saw which are the competitors, who are the global players who are giving data center services, what do they give, translated that back into how we can enable that in India, and we created a very small prototype of about 300 square feet, which we called a data center. Today, in no stretch of imagination, you can think about a 300 square feet of a space being called as a data center, but we made one small prototype of data center, and that was my first encounter with data center. Then we realized that there's an empty potential of having data being placed in a secured location, because that was that moment where we were seeing banking and financial institutions going into a complete digitization wave. Earlier we used to have branch banking, right? Then we started having the centralized banking or CBS solutions, centralized banking system solutions, which required larger data centers or data to be in large servers which were hosted in data centers. So almost all nationalized private sector banks, they went into CBS implementation. And that time the data center demand, the domestic data center demand was so high that, we as a player in Reliance Infocom to start with, we were developing data centers, and we were quite successful over there. So that was that's how my journey with data center started. Then in between I was working with OEM partners like Cisco and Dell. So, saw how this OEM infrastructure or OEM ecosystem plays an important role in the data center, and then got a chance back to come into the service industry with Yota. We started Yota, then I was part of Iron Mountain transitioning into WebWork transitioning into Iron Mountain, and then now I'm spearheading this operations and management of Techno data centers, where we are planning to get something new for the country.
We'll touch upon that in just a minute. But before we do that, I was wondering if you could take us through, you just showcased how you've seen the industry grow and evolve. But, things are becoming very fast-paced, especially in the advent of AI. It's mind-boggling. So is it something that gives you a lot of hope, or is it causing anxiety?
It is causing both, to be very fair, because, we have seen a lot of waves in the industry. And we have seen, as you say, that there is a hype cycle, and then there is a consolidation phase, and then there is a phase of actual usage. So right now, from an AI perspective, I would say that there is some certainty, but there is also a lot of hype which is getting created. And because of that particular hype, there are some investment which are being made, which might not be sustainable, because we have seen from NVIDIA perspective also, if you see, in last 4 years, I think they have got almost like 5 to 6 models being changed of their GPUs.
And then DeepSeek came and changed everything else.
Then DeepSeek comes and they change everything. They say this is not required. Then there is a trend of quantum computing which is coming, which is quite distributed, which reduces your dependency on a centralized server-based computing. So trends are there. However, one thing is very certain, whatever trends that we have seen in the past also, that digitization is here to stay. See, if we are solving a particular problem, it is going to stay. So, there is a problem that is getting solved. there is a automation that is happening. There is a flow of information that we are now accustomed to. We want everything on the tip of our head. All the information should be available, and that is only possible when we have infrastructure like artificial intelligence. We have infrastructure like computing, large scale computing available with us. So it is here to stay. In what contours it will stay is something that we are quite apprehensive or cautious about. And that's the reason why again and again I come back and say that having too much dependency on large format data center is not right. We should have large format data center and edge data centers, both should be in combination, or both should be in hand to serve the country.
Let's look at that. Let's look at the large format, the hyperscalers, the two big markets, of course, Mumbai and Chennai. In fact, your first hyperscale project is taking place here in Chennai,
In
right?
Chennai, correct.
So tell us a bit about how you've seen these markets evolve and why did you gravitate towards Chennai?
See, right now, Mumbai and Chennai typically were two markets which were very strong because of the landing station, subsea landing station. Most of the content that India used to consume came from outside. Right? Internet was mostly, consuming US-based sites or taking information from websites or content which was outside India. Now, if you see, the consumption has altogether changed. It is more India-centric content which is getting consumed, and that is the reason why dependency on these two larger markets significantly come down. Now, I would not say that totally come down because
It's getting distributed.
it is getting distributed now. Hyderabad is getting its share, Pune is getting its share. To that factor, Noida is getting that share. Otherwise, Noida was completely ignored, right? Only Mumbai and Chennai, 80%, 75 to 80% of the market was in between these two cities, which has now come down to a fraction less, 65%. Still a very large market is being controlled here. And that is because, wherever there is a market, providers tend to go there. And traditionally, hyperscalers have been almost 60% of the total demand, which is getting consumed in last 4 to 5 years. So wherever hyperscalers are going, the facilities are getting created there only, and that's the reason why they're still the projects that started about 2 to 3 years back mostly were in Bombay and Chennai. But if you ask me today, it will be fairly distributed. People will not be very forthcoming in terms of putting up their money in Bombay because of the inherent cost of the setting up the operations has increased in Bombay a lot. But again, sometimes when you start comparing, if you compare with US, the cost of setting up is way high. But still that US market is thriving, so Bombay market might...
Japan being the most expensive market, it is still thriving.
Correct.
Every week somebody comes and gives them $1 billion.
to start.
I know, right?
Correct.
Now,
So from that matter, Bombay is still very, I would not say cheap, but it is very economical to start operation if you
compared to
compare it
global markets.
global markets.
What about Chennai though? What's the allure of Chennai for you? Why did you choose Chennai?
So Chennai, couple of things. One is the landing station. Second, hyperscaler presence. Third, there are a lot of GCCs which are here, and out of the total new GCCs which are being planning to come to India, almost 40% will be in the southern region, and Chennai will get its fair share because of problems of infrastructure that we are seeing in Bangalore, the political scenario in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So Chennai is a market which is more stable. Chennai is a market which is having lot of potential as far as population is concerned, young population is concerned.
Educated engineers, creme de la creme.
Correct. So that's the reason why Chennai, we feel that there will be a lot of global competency centers which will be coming. And when global competency center come, they would also be looking for the data center. So that was a couple of reasons why we chose Chennai as location. Plus the fact that, I always keep on saying that Chennai has been, Tamil Nadu has been lucky for us. We started our the projects of the new project of renewable energy, when we started in 2010-11,
Hmm.
Tamil Nadu was the one. We signed up long-term PPA with Tengenco. So our relationship with the power infrastructure companies,
Hmm.
our overall ecosystem out here is quite strong.
I see. Let's talk about Edge now. What I'm really excited about is your project with RailTel. This is again $1 billion investment into Edge, and you're planning to build what, over 200 megawatts of capacity across the country. What are these markets, the tier 2, tier 3 cities? Where do you plan to go, and what exactly do you have in mind?
So very interesting discussion I had a couple of weeks back in one of the very premier institutions in India, education institution in India, and they were working on the use cases of rural uh, digitization. Now we feel that there is a lot of digitization that we have in India, right? Um, but you will be surprised to know a couple of facts that one, internet penetration or internet usage in rural India is more than urban.
That's true.
Second is there is a lot of digitization which is happening in rural India, but the data never arrives for the inferencing or the model training. Smaller things like healthcare, right? The kind of diseases that you find in the rural areas, the kind of the number of patients that are there in the rural India, uh, their healthcare records, then the land digitization that is happening,
Yeah.
the kind of education programs that are being run over there. Uh, so all these things, the soil testing, agriculture, right now there is so much dependency in terms of agriculture now, because again of the geopolitical reason that India wants to become self-sufficient,
Absolutely.
and food is the first necessity, right?
True.
So the kind of investment that country is giving for irrigation, soil testing, in terms of advising the farmers in real time as to which crop to grow at what period of time. So all those decision making, all those things are happening at the rural level. So there's a lot of data that is getting generated, plus there is a lot of latent demand which is there in the rural country, and that's what we thought, that the data should be sitting next to the place where it is getting originated. And that's where our strong belief is, that we should have a data center or a facility where we can host this data near to the customer. Now, because there is dependency on inferencing and model training at the central location, there needs to be a very strong network which needs to connect these edge data centers with the central data center or hyperscale large format data centers. And RailTel today comes very handy because of their fiber optical network, which is presence pan India. They've got 65,000 kilometer of fiber
Along rail lines.
along rail lines, which is connecting most of the gram panchayats, most of the district headquarters, most of the cities. So that gives us a very deadly combination of setting up these data centers, setting up these center of excellency where the data can be crunched, data can be stored, data can be migrated, and the network which can take this data to a center where this data can be crunched, it can be analyzed, and the decision making can happen. So that combination of edge and centralized data center will give us a very good advantage over for the digitization of the country, and that's where the investment is going to come. Data center, as you know, is a very capital intensive business.
Yes.
And doing a distributed data center adds to the cost, because then you are running multiple teams. At any given point in time, we are working in 8 to 10 locations simultaneously. That is what the speed of execution that we are having right now. So the investment is going there. It's a phase wise investment. We are seeing a lot of potential in those cities, and depending on the potential of the further cities, we will keep on making the
Could
investment.
you shed light on these cities, the emerging markets in the heartland? Some cities that stand out to you, you find them to be promising. Could you give us some examples?
Correct. So if you see, Eastern India has been quite neglected, right? Apart from Calcutta, there was no location which was more data centric or had a potential of data center. But today, if you see Orissa, Bhubaneswar, is a very good market. Then you have all the northeastern states. Right? So if you talk about Guwahati is a better location. If you talk about Bihar, Patna is one of the major locations where there is a lot of data consumption which is happening, plus the diversity which is there. If you come to the central India, we have places like Raipur, we have places like Bhopal, Indore, which are great in terms of the data consumption and the availability of the enterprise market over there. If we go further west, in Rajasthan, Jaipur, Ajmer, Udaipur, if we see in Ahmedabad, Surat, Baroda,
Right.
these are the cities where we have a lot of potential. In north, if we go, Srinagar has a good potential now with a lot of digitization projects which are happening. In fact, we are, as a part of our group company, we are also doing smart metering project, electrical smart metering project over there. Then you have Chandigarh. In south, if you go, apart from, in Kerala, Cochin is a location where we are seeing a lot of latent demand. Vizag.
Yeah.
So, we are seeing there is a lot of development which is happening. We are talking about subsea landing stations in near Gujarat. In Gujarat, we are seeing landing station. We are seeing landing station in Odisha.
Yeah, in Puri. They have announced. Right.
So there'll be a landing station in Calcutta. So then
Digha.
Yeah. So there'll be a lot of areas which will be getting connected, and then this dependency on Bombay and Chennai will significantly reduce. There will be a lot of landing stations where the data flow will happen, and then we can also tap onto the other markets as well, where we are talking about having the data exchange from some countries like Southeast Asian countries. So those are the areas that we can develop. So potential is immense with the kind of ecosystem that is getting developed for the edge. We are seeing it's a very conducive environment, and the latent potential or the hidden potential of the country is already there.
But given all of this, this ambition, this exuberance that the market is displaying right now, the question of sustainability appears to have a bit of a sobering impact on it. So realistic goal setting, keeping in mind your ESG goals as well as your business goals, it's a bit of a tightrope walk. What kind of approach are you taking towards sustainability in order to achieve all your goals, but in a more realistic way? What kind of a roadmap do you have?
See, in the ESG part, it's very interesting that you take that walk. As you rightly said, it's a very difficult walk to take, but it happens because of the two factor. One is push and one is pull. Right. So sometimes it is required for you to go for that particular thing. But more importantly, if you see, you have lot of advantages in adopting a very sustainable data center design. If you start from a design phase, it is very easy to implement, and it is long lasting impact on your data center, operational cost as well, and giving you the ESG benefits. Giving you an example, a small edge data center, if we talk about, if we can have from day one, if we can have renewable energy as being planned, we can have small battery storage, the best part of it, for taking care of the generating hours. This can be a game changer.
Yeah.
Because not only that you will be meeting your goals, but you will also be having a cost of power through renewable, which is way less than your traditional power cost of the grid at 24 hours.
But is it easy to get renewable energy? Do we have enough, renewable investments in renewable energy? Do we have enough existing plants? And also to get energy from those locations too, because edge is again spread all across the country. So how easy or difficult is it to get renewable energy and take it to these various deployments?
The most difficult part is in terms of the transportation of the energy, because there are a lot of transmission losses.
Exactly.
There is lots of wheeling charges and all that you need to pay in terms of getting that. Our power infrastructure, as I was telling in one of the panels, our power infrastructure is not that capable to carry that kind of power. But luckily for us, edge data centers start small, right? So if let's say there is a 0.5 megawatt of data center, there's not a very huge land parcel which is required to set that up.
True.
So you can have in very near, you can have, and all these are in Class B, Class C cities. So you can have the renewable power generator land parcel also quite near to the data center. Then you can supply. You can have battery storage, which is not very large, which can take care of your non-peak hours. Similarly, as I was earlier talking about, all these new technologies are coming with lot of energy efficiency, because the kind of power that they consume is huge. So if we go a traditional way, we'll be outcasted, right? So we are talking about a PUE of 1.2, 1.18 with direct liquid cooling.
Oh, nice.
So that will help us further, reaching towards our goal. But as I said, if it is in your design phase, then only you can implement. You can't retrofit a ESG thing later as a afterthought. It has to be in your basic planning that these are my goals, I need to achieve these goals.
So plan well, start small, dream big.
Dream big and make it scalable.
Make it scalable. Thank you so much. Let's end on that upbeat note. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.